Welcome to Mark's Remarks. Let me just adjust this. Um, I've got I've got a few subjects I've got written down here on a bit of paper to get through. And normally I have a load of subjects to get through, and everybody asks me questions, so sometimes I don't get through them. But doing the live stream, but I don't think it seems to work. I actually because what happens is when I do a live stream, it's after I've finished and I load it is when I can put a title, because you can't see a title before as you click on. I've just tried it just now and it really work. YouTube changes stuff around, so I have to put the titles on. So it's like so you don't know what I'm going to be talking about until I talk about it. Hayden, Sharky, and Just Jenna are in the house. Hello to you two. And you okay on the vodka tonight? Yeah, Just Jenna. Yeah, I'm gonna be on the vodka again today. Pretty much the only time I drink vodka is when I'm going live. It's not often I'll sort of drink it. I'm not really. When I do drink it, I can drink a fair amount, but it seems to be just when I is the few occasions where I'll actually sit down and drink it. Yeah, I'm not really one of these that'll just sit down in front of a movie, and drink lager. Well, I don't often drink lager anymore, but I won't sit down and watch a film and drink. Spice and Easy's in the house. Hello, Spice and Easy. Hitler's toilet, pot noodle, question mark. Yeah. The thing is, I don't really want to walk into the kitchen to get my other plastic cup. So I'm going to drink out of a pot noodle tub. Scotty B. Yeah, lockdown. It's a bit of a drag. Sometimes I end up getting up and going to the shop just to to get out and about, stretch the legs. I don't really need anything, so I would just go down there and buy something. Because I tell you, it's because the thing is, it has to be done. You have to lock yourself. Oh, okay. I got myself some bar cola today for £1. I haven't drank fizzy drinks in quite a long time. I drank a can about 10 days ago. Before that, it was a bunch of weeks. In the last 3 months, since I decided to stop, or at least cut down, in the last 3 months, that is, I must have drank 3 cans, 4 cans. Not very much. I figured, because the thing is, it's because I decided, I've mentioned, I use the word fat bastard. I was getting a bit chubby, well, around the belly. So I figured I'll stop fizzy drink and stuff. But it's definitely gotten firmer, So I just stick to what they call fruit juices when I'm drinking. Scotty B will be watching on the rerun. Yeah, actually, quite a lot. I get quite a lot of people normally watching it on the rerun, mainly because I can't really advertise the fact that I'm going live. I tried it the other day. I don't think it worked. Given 45 minutes notice or something. Beer's fizzy. Yeah, beer's fizzy. Well, yeah. I'm not really a lager drinker. I've got a few in the fridge, but I rarely drink them. Well, Scotty B, can you do some more breakfast? Yeah, well, pretty much anything that I cook in the kitchen can be breakfast. I've eaten, anything from cereal to beans on toast to I've had steak dinners, and I've had last night's takeaway dinner, last night's Chinese for breakfast. I've cooked up a rice and vegetables with some kind of meat for breakfast. cooking, making breakfast videos. It's just food that's eaten at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's what a breakfast. So I mean, any of my dishes can be that way round. You can have pie and chips for breakfast. It's just a time of day. I mean, I do sometimes cook that early in the morning. Very rare. Um, the reason why you see the videos at 6 o'clock in the morning is because I've timed it. You can put it on a timer in like 15-minute intervals all the way around the clock. Hitler's toilet didn't get notification you was going live. No, I wasn't able to give the last time I tried to, but I wasn't able to this time. I tried to put a few title headlines, but that didn't work. So now I've just got to go the old way of just do the live stream and then put the title in afterwards. Peter Webster should out Mark to Terry Webster. I don't know what that. Spice and Easy, right, gotta go. Just thought I'd pop in and say hi. May see you on our live tomorrow. May see you on our live. Oh, you're going live tomorrow, yeah? Spice and Easy. Oh, in that case, if anybody's about to check that out. Live tomorrow. Peter B is in the house. He's here with a spanner. It means he's keeping law and order. Hey, Mark, welcome back. Good to see another live. Big thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of people watching. I did a live stream a few days ago, and there was sod all. Man, must have been like 8 people. It was all after the fact that people started watching. Anyway, yeah, sometimes Anyway, I suppose I better start talking about stuff, aren't I? What I'm going to do. Everybody's talking about themselves. Scotty B, will there be less videos now or more? I think if you're talking to me, there will probably be less, because what happens is, for a short time, I was filming, but because what I do, I'd put on a video every other day at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll time it on the timer, and I was filming more videos than what I was, because I was filming every day, but only loading the videos for you to see every other day. So I had a backlog of about 7 or 8 videos, and if I stopped filming and carried on putting them one every other day, that'd be like 6 p.m. So you get 2 a day, and that way I clear the backlog. I've still got about another 2 or 3 videos on computer that's ready to forward. That see the trouble is, I mean, what if I've got like 2 weeks for it to get on? Anyway, but I was doing that kind of lot, jumping films forward, and nearly there now. So for the next couple of days, I'll be able to do 2 a day, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., and then it'll probably jump to every 6 a.m. because I'll be filming them at night and then putting them on the computer, putting them on the timer for 6 the following morning. Scotty B, okay, you have been bumping videos out a lot in the last couple of days. Yeah, well, that's why, because I've been filming them quicker than I've been loading them. Pablo Mancini, yeah, drinking out the pot noodle tub again. People find that really strange. I don't get it. It's just I've drunk out of jam jars. There was one. I did a review of. You know what it was? I think it was Sprite with cucumber. They come out with this new flavor, but it was something with cucumber. I'm sure it was Sprite. Maybe you can did a review on that. I didn't have anything, so I drank out of the gravy jug. It was a clear glass gravy jug. I drank out of that because I had nothing else to drink out of. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I'll just drink out of anything. Anyway, yeah, jam jars. Well, the thing is with jam jars is, I mean, I've had people around refuse to drink out of jam jars. You pour them a drink, they won't drink it, assholes. But you go to some of these fancy shops that they don't sell the round ones like a jam jar. It's more of a square jam jar neck where you can put a lid on it, and you put a lid with a hole in it, so you can put a straw through there. Put it in a fancy novelty shop, and yeah, people will drink out of it. Make your own. Nobody's interested. Scotty B. No, I haven't been on the buses recently. I'm not even sure they're running. I haven't been out of the house a whole lot recently. I would imagine there'll be reduced services at the very least. Pablo Mancini. I eat cereal in a dog bowl. I smashed them all, and the dog is dead now. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I mean, if you was on a desert island, I mean, you'd be doing a whole lot worse. Anyway, actually, there's a few. What I saw today, right? It's really strange. Like now, occasionally you'll see somebody driving down the road and they've got a mask on, or they'll be walking around the street with masks. Or the other day when I went into Farm Foods to top up the freezer, I saw two people in Asda. We went to Asda first. They had the masks on. You don't see a whole lot of it, but I went to the shop today because I thought, right, I need to get some fresh air, right? So I walked down the shop, and the funny thing is, it started off. I got to the co-op, and there was a queue of people outside. Actually, it wasn't really a queue because everybody was standing so far apart. It looked like a big congregation. But what it was a line, but everybody was 6 or 8 feet away. So imagine there's like 8 people, 8 or 10 people, but each of them are 6 feet apart. So yeah, I couldn't even tell it was an actual line until some guy pointed it out. Anyway, but they were waiting on the co-op, and I thought, hello, the co-op must shut, but when I think. Which is strange because before then, all the last couple of weeks, they haven't had that problem. They've just been letting them in, and but I think they were just letting a few in at a time. Which is why people were milling about outside. And so I figured, fuck that. I'm not joining the, I'm not going to be 10 deep trying to get into the sodding co-op. Or I don't really want anything. I just left the house to get some air. Anyway, so I walked down and they got this Indian-run convenience store, right, a little ways down the path. So I went down there, went in, got a bottle of drink and some crisps and stuff, and then I went in the chippy next door. I mean, for one thing, I mean, Co-op have got very limited supplies. I was in there a couple of days ago, and the place is half empty. Everything's gone. All the meat's gone, except for you got a couple of packs of bacon or a couple of sausages. All the dairy there's loads of that. There's loads of cheese. There's loads of bottles of fruit juice. There's loads of yogurts. Lots of where the pizzas are, meat pies. All them. There's loads of them left. You go around the corner. All the pasta's gone. Funny enough, all the pasta's gone, but all the sauces are still there. Nobody's buying up all the sauces. Half the cereal was gone. All the milk's gone. Pretty much all the tins have gone. All the flour and the baking stuff. If you want to bake your own scones or make your own bread, all that flour's gone. You go around the corner. Lots of biscuits left. Nobody's buying the biscuits. Nobody's buying the crisps. So I mean, lots of fizzy drink. But it's funny how the things that are going, what people prioritize. Anyway, I come out, right, and the people still queuing up, but the thing is, I felt like saying to them, "Hey, stupid one, go down to the corner shop, just a 90-second walk, everything you need, because I mean, the co-op's got fuck all in there, right? So, and if you want smokes, if you want electric, if you want anything, in fact, the local Peggy shop they're more stocked than the co-op, from what I could see, that the shelves are all full up with stuff, but nobody's leaving to go down to the other shop because they probably get exactly the same stuff down at the corner shop there with the Indians as you would in the co-op, but they're all standing there like a bunch of dummies. Oh yeah, letting a couple of people 15, 20 minutes. I'd let into the co-op by then, but I mean, there wasn't people were joining the queue, and anyway, it was just strange. Why queue when you can go down there and get exactly the same thing from the independent shop? Anyway, these shelf grabbing swines. Yeah, Peter B. Exactly. People. It's amazing. It is amazing to look at what people prioritize. All like all the meat, all the pasta, but no sauce. Nobody's eating the sauce. Everybody, they're buying up all the flour, like I say, for the bread and the scones, but all the jams and the marmalades and the chutneys, nobody's touching those. So I mean, they're getting the bread, but not the flavoring to go with it. All the cans are gone. Anyway, I left and I'm walking home, and walking up the street, and there's a couple on the path. They're walking towards me, and I'm on the other side of the road. I'm waiting for them to go so I can sort of go across the road. And from what I could tell, they were it looked like a young couple because it's hard to tell. Because, I mean, they look like young, but both of them had masks on, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, all right, people are doing that. People are wearing masks. They're trying to, stay safe by, not getting infected. And then I cross the road and I look back, and they're holding hands as they're walking down the fucking street. And I'm thinking, you dumb bastards, you've got the mask on to protect you from the virus, but then you're holding hands as you're walking down the street with. What are you thinking? It just seems so stupid. Why wear the masks in the first place if you're going to do that? It's just some people they haven't got the fucking sense they were born with. I swear to Christ. It's. If you want to protect yourself, you've got to distance yourself. Keep keep 6 foot, they say, from strangers and anybody else walking around the street. But if there's people in your house, or people who you're, in a close proximity to, which you don't have a lot of say in that. If you're living in the same house, try and keep your contact, I guess. Or at least keep their contact with strangers to a minimum. Keep your contact to strangers to a minimum, and then hopefully, when you're together, you won't contract by giving this virus to each other. But then walking down the street holding hands while you're wearing a mask each, it struck me as just what goes through somebody's head when they The trick is to avoid human contact pretty much as you can. That's the only way That's the only way this fucker's going to blow over. Motherfuckers like them stop touching each other. That's all you're going to fucking do. It's only going to last a few months. It's not like the end of the world. But no, because they're a young couple and they've got to hold hands while they're walking down the street. Just fucking keep your distance. Don't catch it. Don't fucking spread the fucker. The local what? My local shop, my local co-op, and my local chippy, and my local shops is what I'm. What's this? Do you think we will go into total lockdown? Scotty B asks, do I think we're going to go into total lockdown? Well, I tell you, if we've got stupid motherfuckers like these two running around, 4, 5 stupid fucking teenagers sitting having a bit of a party, having a few beers, having a smoke, And then, of course, you've got the police coming up and saying, what the fuck? You know, you're supposed to be indoors, you dumb bastards. You know, you shouldn't be out on the street congregating or out on the beach. So while we got stupid bastards running around who are not willing to do their part by keeping this thing under control, then total lockdown to do the right thing. And let's face it, people are fucking dumb. You know, if they're too dumb to do the right thing and do what they can to stop the spread, not skipping down a fucking street holding hands with your girlfriend, or you know, hanging out on the beach with 4 or 5 of your mates all drinking beer and you know, hanging out in the park and waiting for the police to show up. If you've got dumb shits like that who are basically fucking it up for everybody because they're keeping this virus alive. One guy's got it, he gives it to 4 of his mates while they're sitting around the fucking, you know, swings at the local park. Then the thing just escalates. So, you know, although I mean, see, when you've got you've only got to look at any doomsday show like The Crazies is one of them. The Crazies. There's a whole bunch, but there was a movie called The Crazies. There's 2 of them actually. There's one with that Oliphant who was in Deadwood. That was the later one. That was like, I don't know, it was only 20 years ago. And they had one back in the 80s or 70s. And there are other. I mean, you look at any kind of movie involving a contagion. There's films called Contagion, you know, or Epidemic, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And when you've got a big outbreak, people are dropping left and right. Then you know, then you get in martial law. You've only got to watch any of these shows that'll show you how that problem. The situation is for the stupid fuckers. They don't see dead bodies in the street. You know, I mean, if we got dead bodies, they're possibly dying at home. They're dying in hospital. Somebody my mum knew. She texted me the other day to say somebody that she knew died the other day in hospital. She managed to get herself some kind of, I don't know, pneumonia or some shit, and end up dead. It's because we don't see dead bodies in the street. We don't see emergency army out the way of the houses. We don't see that. So it's, for some people, it doesn't register, you know? And that's why you got people hanging around in the park, being dumb shits and skipping down the road holding hands. You know, if we saw dead bodies being hauled away into ambulances, you know, medical tents in the middle of you know, local parks and whatnot, you know, the setup. If we saw that, then that would drum it home. Say, right, we stay the fucking doors because we're going to end up like that. But we don't, you know. And on the one hand, it's probably good that we haven't got to that stage. But on the other hand, it's bad because people. I mean, I only leave the house. I mean, I've been stuck in here for fuck knows how long. I've been, you know, doing my thing and trying to stay away, you know, for as much as I can. I only go to the shop every 3 or 4 days, you know, but mainly to see what they see, partly to see if I can pick up any odds and sods, you know, a bit of milk, what it is, to see if there's a delivery of bread or something. Other than that, I'm pretty good. And you know, to see what the state of the shop is, to see what, you know, so basically sometimes I might have something to talk about, you know, but I'm staying away from people as much as I can. Even in the chippy, they've actually put some sellotape on the floor. So you got it. So you're 6 feet away from the counter. It's funny because the co-op don't have that. You know, you got straight up at the counter just like before. But yeah, you know, while we don't have it in our faces just how bad this is, because we hear on the news and on the YouTube channels and whatnot, so many people have died. We hear about it in other countries that a certain amount of their population have died of the thing. It doesn't really hit home because I don't know whether it's an English thing, but you know, we in England we definitely have the mentality of, it won't happen to me. You know, I'm fairly fit. These things don't happen to me. I'm not going to walk down the street and catch it. That's somebody else's fucking problem. That's the old folks. That's the old folks and infants and people who are ill in the first place. They're the ones who are going to get it. I'm English. I'm doorstep, being cast away like in the apocalyptic movies or the Contagion movie. There's plenty of Contagion movies out there. Kate Winslet was in one of them. It goes to show, you got to cure people. One guy's coughing, he infects 15 other people, and then he gets on a plane, goes to another, but yeah. So the long way around with Scotty B's question there about martial law, or how he put it, total lockdown. It's the only way, because the only way you're going to stop this thing from spreading as fast as it is for everybody to stay indoors, stay the fuck away from everybody else. But people don't, because they don't think it's going to happen to them. They don't see the bodies, so it's not going to happen. It's somebody else's problem. But so you need martial law in order to stop people from leaving the house. But on the other hand, people have to go to the shop. People have to take the dog for a walk. Certain professions are still staying in employment, namely emergency services, police, ambulance, fire, I guess, nurses and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, so certain people will be allowed to, out and about, but yeah, unless you have martial law, people are just going to. It's a big party, right? They don't got to go to school. They don't got to go to college. If they're most likely if they're working there, they don't have to go. It's a big party for them. Just hang out in a field, hang out in the local swings and smoke dope or drink beer or whatever the hell else. Pablo Mancini, I would have had a word with them from a distance. I wouldn't be having it, Mark. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, as a citizen, you can't, you can't really sort of. I mean, you could, I suppose. As a police officer, if you're having to go and deal with these teenagers drinking and whatnot in the park, you're putting yourself at risk from contagion. They are putting themselves at risk from contagion, being having somebody approach them like this, assuming that the police officer has the symptoms without knowing. You got a two-way crossover that way. And because the thing is, I mean, I doubt that the criminals are having a day off. I would imagine shoplifting. But yeah, purely by hanging out in the park, being a dumb shit, they're putting everybody at risk because the authorities have to come and sort them out, and then they have to leave and go deal with somebody else. And if they, the crossover contamination is a possibility. Let's see. Peter B. Truemark, a lot of UK public think it's all a movie. Yeah, honestly, it's like until you see it, it's not going to hit home for a lot of people. People don't. People just don't. They think it's going to happen to somebody else. Scotty B, I've been out walking my dog today. My father has put me to work with him. Oh, you're working with your dad. What are you doing working with your dad? What kind of work is that? Yeah, Scotty B. I tell you, well, that's pretty much what I would do if I was in that. If I was the law officer, going and bringeth the smackdown, as The Rock would say. Go and bang some heads. Let's just say I wouldn't be shy with my baton. Yeah, you got to go in there and show them some law and order. Say, look, get indoors or you get this. You get the old nightstick. Scotty B. Oh no, I bet all the games. Yeah, I mean it's that's the thing, because the thing is when you've because like I was saying in the last live stream, once the shops stop delivering, I mean, at the moment, the shops are still delivering to a certain extent. I mean, admittedly, like the co-op was getting double deliveries, and it's still fucking, people were buying as much as they can carry. Once the shops stop delivering, you've got a matter of days before people start turning on each other. And like Scotty B says there, the gangs will be out there trying to separate people from the people. Well, which actually brings me on to my next subject, was what I did after the last live stream. We were talking about on Doomsday Preppers, did people preparing for different things. Some people preparing for, lightning strikes. Some people preparing for power cuts. Some people preparing for a meteor strike. Some people preparing for solar flares that are going to knock out all the electric. People prepare for different things. American and English, and I would imagine other countries. It's just that they. I think there's some in Australia. They made a few videos on that. And the thing is, I was watching a few. I was recapping on a few, but the majority of people have actually they've got a plan. And I made a few notes. Yeah, there was two in particular, right? There was one very interesting one where there was a kid. They said he was 12 and he's been prepping since he was 9. So that made 20 by now. But at the time he was like 12. And what he was doing, he seemed to, have a handle on things. He had his own bug out kit. What he would do was go out in the woods with his dad and make a camp, make fires, learn how to make a fire with soggy wood, and make a shelter out of twigs, and and then one of his trials was to go to a beach and make a cup of tea. This fucking beach was windy as hell. He's got to go scramble around looking for a bit of firewood to make a fire, to make a cup of tea. That was the goal, to improve his skills. And he was saying, he said, listen, because he was talking about an economic collapse. The kid was fucking 12 years old, and he's talking about an economic collapse when the shit hits the fan kind of thing. People are not going to be prepared. People, like I was saying last week about the, it's going to be the people who know how to grow their own food. They're the ones who are going to survive. And to add to that would be people know how to catch and kill and cook their own food. How many of us know how to catch a rabbit? How many of us have actually killed an animal for food? Hopefully, not many of us would have killed an animal, but but differently to that, to specifically to kill and eat it. Not very many. Not very many. We may have seen it. I've done a bit of research. Looking at people killing rabbits to eat rabbits, crocodile. How to remove the skin and chop up the crocodile for food. Just to, because I'm interested in that sort of, learning stuff. Anyway, back to this kid. He was talking about an economic collapse, and you need to be prepared to learn how to start a fire, how to learn to trap an animal, how to learn to clean the animal, cook the animal, make some dinner. And every week, him and his dad used to go out in the woods, for a night, make a shelter and all this stuff. And it sounded like the kid and the dad had it all fucking sewn up. And the mum, stupid fucker she was, she's in the kitchen talking to the camera crew. And you could tell the attitude she had was, without saying so much, her attitude was, well, quite frankly, just let them get on with it. I'm happy to have a fucking day off, bit of peace and quiet. If and fuck around in the woods making fires, catching rabbits for food, great. Just leave them to it. Just on your, let them enjoy themselves. I'm not interested. Listen, and I'm thinking, you fucking dopey, they're out there learning the skills, which, by the way, this program was only 7 years ago, and these people were talking about exactly what's going on here: an economic collapse. Solar flares or anything like these people were talking about, or crop failures and all. It was, turns out to be a contagion virus, which is leading to the same result as what these people were talking about 7 years ago. And the mum's in the kitchen. Oh yeah, just I'm not interested. Just let them do what they want. I'll just sit at home. I want a piece of quiet. But yeah, as soon as I bet she's at the fucking door now. Now that the dad and the son, who's about 19 now, they've got their act together. The shit hits the fan. She's at the fucking door. Let me in. Let me in. Oh, I didn't mean any of that stuff. Please, and there was another one. There was another guy, right? This guy was him and his wife. There's no kid to teach. Excuse me. To teach stuff to. But what this guy had done, he had spent approximately 8 threes, I guess, cooking equipment, things to basically bug out stuff. Where if you need to leave the house in a hurry and head for the hills, you just grab your bags and just go. You load the van up with all your stuff and just get lost. And this, again, remember, this is 7 years ago. So, I mean, this is, these people knew what they were talking about. The fucking wife is in the kitchen talking, again, a different wife, to the camera crew, saying, yeah, the thing is, he spent £8,000 on this bug out kit and survival stuff and water purifications and shovels and, everything for a bug out thing. And she said, look, quite frankly, I mean, I would have better, I wish you'd have spent the £8,000 on a new kitchen. She's gesturing to the kitchen, right? But wish you'd spent it on a kitchen, or she said, a new kitchen or luxuries for the house. Like fucking like an exercise bike, you fat twat. But yeah, I mean, she's the one who's probably thinking, "Oh fuck me, I'm glad we didn't buy that kitchen after all." No. I'm glad he did something glad to get her husband out of the fucking house. He's like, he's out of the house. Oh, thank God, a bit of peace and quiet. But ready for this fucking out. But then she's moaning like fuck that he's spending the money on this stuff that's going to keep them alive. She doesn't seem to think she in her head that money could be spent on a new kitchen. But what this dozy bitch doesn't seem to fucking understand is when the shit hits the fan, there's going to be no fucking kitchen for you to be working in, dummy. If it gets any worse than this, and there's force evacuations, whatever else, and let's say this guy was to head toward the hills, say he's got a mate who's got I don't know, he might have a mate who has a farm somewhere, seclusion. That might be his plan B, to get the wife in the truck with all the bug out equipment to that farm, stay with his mates and ride this fucking virus out. What good's her kitchen going to do her then? But she didn't see the sense that this guy, her husband, had. She was just moaning that she had to make do with a fucking kitchen that wasn't to her. I mean, the kitchen looked okay. Fucking hell of a lot bigger and better than my kitchen, But she wanted a new kitchen over this survival stuff. But I bet she's on the door now. I'm banging at the, let me in. Yeah, they're the people, See, that's the trouble. When you're because I've seen this on other doomsday prepper shows. It's always the dad. It's very rare that the wife is on board. Okay, it's always the husband, possibly the son and a couple of kids who are sort of like following the dad because they either can see the sense in what he's doing or they just want to, bond with the dad. But it's always the mum who's sort of like, nah, yeah, you like, you want to store the fucking spare Vegemite with food, go ahead, go, yeah. And as soon as the shit hits the fan, they're like at the fucking door, oh yeah, I'll partake. But no, it's rare that you see a couple. I mean, it happens. You do get a couple who are on board. They work together as a team. But 8 times out of 10, it's always the fucking man who is doing this, preparing, taking the shit from the wife, taking the shit from the work colleagues, from the neighbors. They all think he's mad because he's saving up he's preparing for when the shit hits the fan. And guess what? The shit has hit the fan. So those people who were preparing 7 years ago, taking shit off their neighbors, being called Looney Tunes and a mad fucker that lives next door by all the neighbors and his wife and workmates and everybody else. He's the one laughing. Only the problem is he's the only one prepared. So these assholes who were scoffing at him for the last 7 years, guess whose door they're knocking on when because they'll all know that he's got the provisions. They didn't have the sense or were there with all to. If they don't got any fucking sense, then yeah, they probably will go out this weekend. Where the fuck are they going to go anyway? All the pubs and clubs and restaurants are shut. Well, at least as far as I know. I mean, the Prime Minister's been telling them all to shut. All the cinemas, all the restaurants, knowing that you really need to be keeping your distance from anybody who can be affected. I'm sure if they were open, you'd barely get a couple because people are stupid. But where are they going to go if they did want to go out? It's got to be let me in. Yeah, I tell you, I mean, making fun of you for me, and moaning like fuck about how we don't have a kitchen. Yeah, remember I was just joking. I'll throw the bitch out the street. And yeah, see how you like that. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be so harsh, but no. I tell you, it's. I mean, good on these people for sticking with it. They knew it was coming, and they stuck with it no matter how much shit they was taking. Because I mean. I've sort of done it, and I've known a few other people have done it. Well, I didn't do it on the. See, everybody's got their own scenario which they work toward. Some people it's solar flares. Some people it's a meteor hit. Some people it's terrorists blow up the power grid. For some people it might be crop failures, which means there's no bread, there's no potatoes, there's no vegetables in the shops. This kind of everybody prepared. With me, I was preparing for the next time I crack a bone in my foot, for example. That was what I was preparing for. Which is in my book perfectly a legitimate reason, along with the rest of them, along with the rest of the reasons. It's just my reason was different. I mean, it perfectly fits in with a shit scenario. It's just that my reason was I was preparing for that. It still covers. I mean, things like sanitary stuff. Bars of soap, laundry powder, washing up liquid. Canned goods, this kind of shit. No matter what the reason, if you're saving for the same, you're saving the same stuff. It doesn't matter what the reason is. It all fits in the end, no matter what the catastrophe. Pablo Mancini, what's the name of that program? That would be Doomsday Preppers. There's Doomsday Preppers UK, and there's an American one. There's I saw in Australia. I saw the headline for an Australian one. I didn't watch any of the Australian one. But the Americans are, it's probably good to watch both. You see, with the English version, it's more. Yeah, that's the thing. The Irish, they have an example that they had a load of guys going around with fucking shotguns, walking. Yeah, proper shotguns. I mean, I don't know who they were affiliated with. I don't know. Maybe they were with that. They were them, but. It would see. I don't know whether they the gun laws are any different. I don't know how their gun laws affect. But the guys had shotguns and they were knocking off rats, practicing their shooting skills and their cookery skills. And there's like 4 of them around a campfire. With the your connection went. It's the first time I've seen it tonight go that way. But the English version is. Mostly bushcraft, learning how to cook a rabbit, catch a rabbit, cook a rabbit, make a shelter, this kind of stuff. Me, I'd rather hold up in the house, rather than go live in a fucking field unless I really had to, But the Americans, it seems to be more of if you've got a patch of land. I mean, some of them buy patches of land fucking 30 miles away and do that up as your backup place. But with the Americans who have got land, they're digging holes. Digging fucking Vietnamese style fucking tunnels in their property, so they can hide in there, pop up, gun some fuckers down, and put the lid down, like a trapdoor, like Rambo. That's what they're doing, and they're stocking up with shotguns and weapons and ammunition and They're stocking up on food. You know, that's the difference as well. The amount of rice, beans, all kinds of food, dried food in 5 gallon buckets, and they have them stacked up all across on the shelves and everything. Whereas in England, it seems to be, they're stocking up on cans. That's what we seem to do. We seem to stock up on the 5 gallons of 10 kilos buckets of rice and pasta and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's all good, I guess. Pablo Mancini says his brother had a bug out bag 10 years ago. My family thought he was ging mad. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what they do. If any, I mean, I was like, once this shit blows over, which it will eventually, do what I did and spend £3 a week. Go down the local pound shop, or if you don't have a Poundland, go into the shop brand section of the supermarket. The shop brand soaps, the shop brand I don't know, shampoos and whatnot. Anyway, washing up liquids and whatever else, or buy whatever brand you want. Buy 3 of them a week. If you're in the Poundland, it costs you £3 a week, so you can buy there's like 6 or 7 items that you'll need, say from Poundland: soaps, shampoo, toothpastes, washing up liquid, laundry powder, then brushes to wash the dishes up, keep them clean. What's that? That's 6. Okay, there's probably a couple of others, but yeah, if you buy 3 £1 items per week and revolve what you get, one time you wash up liquid, toothpaste, soaps. Next time round, you get a laundry powder, get some toothbrushes, and you get some dishwashing sponges. Each week change it up a bit, but get 3 every week. You mentioned it, because there's 50 weeks in it. Say, round it to 50 weeks in a year. If you're spending £3 a week, that's 150 £1 items. 150. So you're looking at if you got so it builds up, like that. That's how you do it. You don't have enough supply. But yeah, people will, if you tell anybody, people will mock you, because they think, well, why the fuck you doing? You're planning for something that's never going to happen. But look at it the way I did. If you want to, if you feel like telling them anything, say, well, look, I'm preparing for the day when I fall down the fucking stairs and break my foot. That's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to be out of work for 3 months. That's what I'm preparing. You don't have to tell them you're preparing for the end of days. Just tell them you're preparing for if you ever break your hand. Slamming the car door, or you fall down the step and fall down the last 2 steps of your house, break your foot. You prepare. You just tell them you're preparing for that. Well, and that's a reason. They'll probably think, well, yeah, if you break your leg, then you're going to be out for a whole bunch of months. That's what you can tell them, and very few people will mock you for that. Terry Webster's asking for a shout out. Hello to you, Terry Webster. Yeah, so when it's all over, then start preparing. 5-litre bottles of water. Put a few of them, aside. Because if you figure every person drinking, they say, is it a litre? If you can get by with a litre a day, so a 5-litre bottle will last you 5 days. So you imagine if there's a contagion in the tap water, assuming that anybody drinks tap water. I haven't done that for years. I always drink bottled or filtered of some type. Scotty B is going. He's going to watch us on the rerun. All right. Well, all right. Catch up on then, Scotty B. Thank you for. If you figure out how many, say you drink a litre a day, then you need approximately a little more than 5 litres. So one 5-litre bottle will last you almost a week. So 8 bottles will last you 2 months, slightly under because of the 2 days, a 5-litre bottle into 7 days. All right, so 9, say 9 or 10 bottle water is going to be going. All right, so if you spend a year gradually accumulating one bottle a week, just line them up against the wall. So after, I mean, once you get like 20 bottles or whatever bottles you need, you don't have to keep on going. Just reach a target that you feel comfortable with, stop there and put those £1 into something else. Buy extra soaps, buy extra bog rolls. Because, I mean, look at the shops now. If the first thing that went was the bog rolls, then it was the canned goods, then it was dried goods, the pastas, the rices, and all that lot. Those are the things that if they're the first things that go, so they're the things you want to be stocked up on. Plus, not wanting to leave the house anyway, you want to be stocked up on slower moving stuff like toothbrushes and toothpaste and whatnot, because you don't want to be leaving the house to go buy it. So yeah, anyway, so that's I mean, so that's what I'll be. In fact, yeah, you never know. I mean, once this is over, if anybody's interested, I mean, I could start doing a series of videos about what I am purchasing in order to restock my stocks. What I buy, where I buy it, how much I buy it for. If anybody's interested, then I'll I can start doing a thing each week. I'll do a 2 or 3 minute video on this is what I bought, this is how much I paid for it, this is the stack that it's going into, so you can see the pile gradually building. If anybody wants, I could do that. Pablo Mancini wants me to read his comment above. Pablo Mancini, he had tarpaulin, washing line, coffee, fire, lighting stuff, and all sorts in the bag. Are you talking about those doomsday preppers? Oh, you're talking about your brother. Yeah. I know, because they're the things. Yeah, you need some string, a washing up line, you need tarpaulin, something to keep the rain off. Load it up with logs that we got from the woods, and basically just have a big fire, and then wrap up potatoes, put them in there, and like that. What we try and do is to matches or a lighter, all right. But if you have the skills to know how, it's not altogether straightforward sometimes. Scraping the sparks. But I used to try what things to burn, because you've got your fire stick, you've got your knife, scraping the sparks. You use a bit of I found that what do you call them? The cotton wool face wipes. They don't burn so well. They're not good. But what I haven't tried this, but I've watched people do it, is Vaseline. You get a big bit of Vaseline, put it on the stick. You can actually set fire to it, and because it's petroleum spirit, petroleum jelly, it'll burn. It'll burn quite well. That's what you use to start. So if you can get the Vaseline burning, then your fire's starting right there. But what do you use? A bit of cotton wool, a bit of bog roll, or whatever else. A bit of tinder. You can. While the going's good, not like now, but before it was all gone to hell. While the going is good, learn these skills. Learn how to make a fire with nothing more than a flint stick. Learn how to make a bow with 2 sticks. To rub together. Learn. There's thousands of videos on YouTube about it. You learn something, so when it does hit the fan, you're prepared. Because I tell you, all it takes for a box, if you're say the day that it does hit the fan, say you're driving through Wales or something, your car crashes, and you need a fire. That's the day in a rain. That's when you've lost your cigarette lighter. That's when your battery goes dead on your car, so you can't use the cigarette lighter to get a flame going. Uh, uh, Peter B. Good idea, Mark. Would never have believed the need for personal survival supplies, but also my eyes are going a bit. But this last 3 weeks have proved the need for forward planning. Exactly. It's like I jokingly say, but which is proper planning prevents piss poor performance. The 6P principle. If you apply that to most things in life, you know, and yeah, all it is proper. It's just forward planning because like for my reasons, anybody can break a toe or break a foot or break a finger, and then you don't have the facility to go work and buy these supplies, so you need them there. And any one of a number of catastrophes could happen. Yeah, just planning, and also, yeah, I mean, like I say, I've said this a few times. Just a couple of pounds, £3 every week, and let it build up. You don't have to go in the shop and buy 60 quid's worth of stuff and then fill up the room as fast as you can. Yeah, just, I mean, if you want to do that, great. The faster you do it, the better. But do it over a period of time. Oh, Rent a Ghost is in the house. Rent a Ghost, are we doomsday prepping? Well, I tell you, we need to. Everybody needs to. I tell you, because if everybody did this, imagine if everybody did this, there wouldn't be half the trouble. When you get a delivery in, the woman told me they're having double deliveries at the co-op. The stuff wouldn't be empty. I've never seen the place so empty, and there wouldn't be people queuing. Like today, there was like 10 or 12 people, all 6 feet apart, all the way down the path, waiting to get in the co-op. Who needs that fucking shit? It's just, if you're prepared, you, what's the word? Contagious. They'd be in trouble. I remember, admittedly, they were standing 6-8 feet apart from each other, which made it difficult to actually find. I didn't even recognize it as a line. It just like a load of people milling about. They're actually so far apart. But yeah, it's the least you can spend around people, the better. And the way to do that is to be prepared. All it is simple math. Okay, all you got to do is figure out, what does one person need to get through a day, or what does one person need to get through a week, right? So for example, to get through a week, you'll need, say, a 5-litre bottle of water. Right? If you really take a 5-litre bottle minimum to get through a week. To get through a week, you need a certain amount of pasta, a certain amount of rice, a certain amount of tinned stuff, like, say, beans or spaghetti sauce, and say a certain amount of you want some vitamins, or some vitamins. So how many tins of fruit does one person need to get through a week? Say 2 or 3 items of, we talk about emergency rations here, right? 2 or 3 items of fruit. All right, so say two tins of fruit, half a tin a day for 4 days, whatever. Okay, so you figure out what one person needs per day, times that by a week, and how many times that, how many stuff people need for a week to survive, and then times that by how many weeks that you want to survive, or how long this epidemic is going to be lasting. You can say, right, I'll supply my spare bedroom for enough for one person for 2 months. And then all you got to do is times that by how many people in the house. So whatever you've calculated for one person, times it by 2 if there's you and the wife, times it by 3 if there's you, the wife, and a kid, like this. So figure out what a person needs to survive a week. How many weeks do you want to prepare for, and how many people are you catering for? It's just mathematics. Don't go in there and buy some of this, some of that, some of this. Oh yeah, this will do. I like get a case of sweet corn and throw that in the. No, plan what you're going to eat per day, per week, and then times it by how many people. Mathematics. So I tell you, because one of the worst things you can do, I mean, you can go without food. You once if it gets really bad, you can sort of like go half rations. If you when you're calculating what you're going to supply in your spare bedroom and your loft or whatever else, for the emergency, don't calculate the absolute minimum that you require. All right, calculate for a comfortable living, right? One doesn't involve, half a tin of beans and and some cream, some crackers. I can survive on that for a few days. Yeah, no problem. But over the long haul, if you calculate what will get you comfortably through a week without feeling hungry, and then in an absolute emergency, you can cut that ration down by a third. It will be an inconvenience, but you're not going to starve to death. If you cater for the absolute minimum that you require, you've got nowhere to go. You can't cut that by a third because you're already at the fucking bare bones of it. You've already at the bare minimum when you started. So cater for a comfortable week, and then you've always got the option to downgrade. You figure out, well, I've got a week's worth of supplies comfortably. I can make that last 10 days if I don't eat so much. I may feel a little bit peckish, but I'm not going to starve. I can stretch it for 2 weeks, possibly 10 days, 2 weeks. But water's important because water's the one thing that you can't really scrimp on, especially if this contagion. Imagine if the contagion happened in the middle of fucking summer. And you're out there where you don't have enough water. Say it's all very well, people coming into contact with each other spreading this virus. What if the virus got into the water source? We're still not 100%, I don't think. I mean, we realise that they've worked out that it's due to bodily contact, people sneezing on each other or coughing on each other, or basically being close to each other. What about next week if they find out? Oh, by the way, yeah, it can be in the water source as well. Yeah, it's only just something we found out. And then you're fucked. What do you do there? So you need a supply of water, more than what you need, because if it's a hot day and you're doing stuff that involves you sweating or whatever, you've got to replenish that water. Or if it's just a hot day to begin with, you've got to be drinking lots of water. So, water is the one thing you need more of. The rest of it, you can downgrade, providing you've got supplies to last. But that's the thing. If you're catering, cater for a comfortable 3 months of no shops. Too. Terry Webster, why did people rush out and buy bog roll before anyone knew what was going on, before it all happened? Was that a leak in the government? Well, there's a few shows on. These are American shows I watch, the Joe Rogan Experience and Louder with Crowder. You really got to subscribe to that guy, Louder with Crowder. He cancelled his channel because he's so the connection's unstable again. Oh, wait a second. Louder with Crowder. He's so popular that they can't really cancel his channel. But what they've done is demonetized him because they don't like him, because he tells the truth about the government, the virus, and both of these, Joe Rogan and Louder with Crowder, are saying how what happened was there was people in government who had certain shares in certain companies, and what they'd done, it looks like there's no sort of, it's looking really bad for them. There's no really proof at the moment, but it's looking like these fuckers in government knew that this was happening. They immediately sold all their shares for a fuck ton of money before they made the announcement that the virus was happening. Say, for example, say for example, just off the top of my head, say they had shares in a fitness, in a gym, in a fitness center, in a gymnasium, one of these, like one of these high end gyms, for example. Say they had shares in a company that owned the gyms. How many people are going to be going to the gym after the contagion hits? No fucker, right? Shares are going to drop. So what they've done, they sold their shares knowing that they were going to take a dump as soon as the word got out. So they sold their shares, then told the public about the upcoming catastrophe. So they were quids in, and also what they were. I'm not sure what they were doing, but if they had any sense, they would be buying things like, if knowing that contagion would be happening, they would be putting their money into supermarkets, for example, and bottled water and Kleenex, buying shares in that, selling shares that are going to tank as soon as the thing hits. Like, say, for example, connections unstable again. I think stream. Say, for example, I had Ford motor car shares. How many cars they're going to be buying or making now that this is happening? Admittedly, a lot of places. Well, my point is that aside from the machines that are making the cars, car sales have got to be tanking. Okay, gymnasium shares are going to be tanking. Airlines, if they've got shares in airlines, they are going to tank. They're the ones that they would be getting. That's the shares that they were getting rid of as soon as they heard this thing. So rather than get rid of them before they told anybody, so that way they make the money before these shares go in the toilet. So that was, and I can't. Anyway, but that was the gist of somebody's question there. But yeah, this is what the politicians this is what the politicians are doing. Terry Webster, that's what they're saying. It's a refresh for everything. Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a big eye opener, because it goes to show how little we are prepared, and how soft we are on technology, for example. That we assume that everything's going to be about, but we are one solar flare away from not having a computer, not having any lights, not having any fridge, freezers, electric for that. We're only a few thunderstorms. We're only a flood away from if we lose acres and acres of farmland to I mean, not so. I mean, we get flooded here in England, but there's places in America that will get flooded, like say Katrina in New Orleans and whatnot. Meters of water, of course, the water will go away eventually, with a bit of work. But you've got salt water, contaminated water, all over. You can't grow crops, and it's only you've got one flood to wipe out a whole big, acres of cabbages, potatoes, corn, wheat, and all that lot, and then immediately, bang, you've got a shortage of bread, potatoes, carrots, vegetables, and then you'll know about a panic, So yeah, I mean, we are that close to the end of the doomsday. Really, we're one flood away, we're one explosion of the power company away from power out. Or say even a lightning strike or a hurricane or anything, Rent a Ghost, 1975. I think he's talking to somebody else. Somebody saying that the virus was planned. Don't skip the important bits, Mark. No, well, I'm not trying. No, I'm not trying to skip. No, sometimes it'll come up in the. It'll say the signal's gone to shit. It'll say in the top corner. Peter B's going to go on the vodka. I tell you, from what I've seen, like sometimes it's good to have people like Peter B here because he's keeping law and order. 'Cause he's one of the moderators. Um, Quite often, you get a lot of people who are being awkward and they need timing out or barring altogether. But recently, I haven't seen. Not that I've noticed. I haven't seemed to be having any need for that. Everybody's behaving themselves, which is good. Oh dear. You know what I was thinking? Because the Chinese had the virus, they knew about the virus, they deliberately put the stop on doctors passing on information to the rest of the world regarding the virus. And the guy who was trying to blow the whistle on it, he ended up catching it, and they put him in the hospital. He caught it and died, I think. But seeing as how the Chinese, if it's true, knew about this, they deliberately kept this information from their own people and the rest of the world. And it's American soldiers, they're the ones that, no, fuck that. They had the virus, they sat on it, didn't tell anybody, it became out of control. Now it's a worldwide problem. Are we going to be hitting up the Chinese for compensation regarding people's deaths, loss of the economy? The economy's going down a shitter. Nobody can go out to work. Nobody's buying cars. Nobody's going on holidays. Nobody's buying houses. Nobody's buying stuff other than food. Nobody's paying the rent. Nobody's paying the mortgage. All these things are going. Are the Chinese going to compensate us for the fucking hardship that they caused by? I assume that it's true because several sources have said that it was they deliberately went out of their way to keep it a secret. Well, the slightly-eyed motherfuckers that they are, if it is true, then we need, let's show them, let's show them as well. Look, it's time for you to fix this problem. You can't keep something like that a secret from the rest of the world and expect, are we going to be, what I would hope that people like Boris Johnson and who's the American, Donald Trump and all the other countries that are affected get on the back of the Chinese and say, yeah, what are you going to do to fucking help out our, you people caused it. So that'd be interesting to see where the Chinese are going to. No, Renego, yeah, don't skip the important bits. No, I'm not skipping. No, it's the channel that's got been. Rent-A-Ghost, is that 101 with 6 darts or more? I don't know. I think he's talking to somebody else. I think. Terry Webster, don't you think it's going to make a generation believe in a government? I don't quite. Well, the thing is, I don't quite understand. But on the one hand, we all want the government to be in our lives less than what they are. We don't like the fact that Big Brother's watching us and all the rest of it. But we allow things to happen. We allow Big Brother to be watching us via cameras and keeping tabs on our spending because they do. They all these loyalty cards from the shops. Big Brother's watching what you buy, even the stuff that you watch on YouTube. If you notice, if you start watching some, like me, I've been watching a load of honey and beehive videos because I'm thinking about getting some bees if I get this allotment. All of a sudden I'm getting advertisements for companies selling beehives and selling honey. It happens. Everything that you watch, under the recommendations, you watch something. You watching. Sometimes I like to watch those attacking a wildebeest at the watering hole. Watch a few of those, and all of a sudden, that's all you get recommended. So the government and everybody is watching what you do. The younger generation probably thinking that the government are there to help you, which 9 times out of 10 they're not. I mean, look at the government. I mean, with the Americans, the government, those people, they've been tracking their movements, and it's shown that they sold their shares knowing that they were going to lose a boatload of money, so they kept it a secret until they got their check from selling the shares. That's the kind of people that are going, and it's not just America. I mean, that kind of shit happens everywhere, even in England. The government and the people who work in the government are there for themselves. They're not there to help you or me or any other fucker. They're there to help themselves. So I mean, the thing is, the older I get, the more I see. When you're a kid, you don't really pay attention to what's going on in the government because you think, oh, there's a bunch of old guys just running stuff. I mean, I just got to deal with. But as you get older, you start to see the problems with law enforcement and the government and Big Brother. How basically, the older you get, the more you see how corrupt these organizations are to an extent. What's this? Rent a Ghost is never eating sweet and sour pork again. Oh, because of the Chinese. Yeah, I tell you what, they seem to have a lot to answer for. Why would I mean? I just don't get it. I mean, because there was a doctor who found this out, and he was trying to pass it on, and they put a stop to him, sharing it with the world. Where to go? So my local takeaway has shut down, protecting themselves from COVID or hiding from reprisals. Yeah, yeah. So they seem to have a lot to answer for. The Chinese government. G White is in the house. Uh, Rent a Ghost says, Mark, if you get bees, subscribers will go up. That's interesting. He's got some kind of emoji thing, arrow. Never seen that before. I suppose you get emojis in it. Yeah, if I get the bees, subscribers will go up. Well, yeah, that'd be a good thing. Yeah, but you never know. It's yeah. I mean, I want to get bees because everybody needs a hobby. And I mean, mainly once if and when I get it all depends on getting the allotment, and then if and when I can get the bees, the beehive and all that lot. To start with, I'll just be selling the honey mainly because I want to, because I mean it's several £100s to get a beehive and get it all set up and get the equipment, and well, for the beehive alone, you're looking at several £100s. Then you've got the equipment, you've got the masks and the equipment and shit. So you look at, but yeah, it's just a case of selling honey to recoup the money for the investment, and then after that, I'll just sell a honey for producing if the bees are producing the connections unstable again. I'll wait a sec. There you go. It's back again. If the bees are making honey and I've got nobody that wants to buy it, then I'll probably, it just end up getting tipped in the bushes, or there's a limit to how long, because the thing is, you can't really give it all away, because if you start giving, gallons and gallons of honey away every month, and that'll be the reason why no fucker's buying it. It's all very well giving a few away to your mates, but the idea is to sell it, and if you keep giving it away, nobody's going to buy it when you can give it away for, so you just end up going in the hedge, because it'd be, it's a reason to leave the house on your day off, because everybody needs a hobby, I guess, and also, if I manage to have the bees, the first few harvests will go to be sold to hopefully recoup the money that I spent on the hive. Then I could just keep on selling the honey, assuming anybody wants to buy it. Keep on selling the honey and using the money to build a bug out shelter in my spare bedroom over there with the next big next big disaster. Which I'm trying to think because I mean we had an outbreak of a disease years ago. A whole bunch of people got ill and died. I'm trying to think of the name for that. Anybody can tell me? It was within my lifetime. Quite a few years ago. Anyway, but yeah, was it? What was it? Not mad cows. It was after that. Zars? No, no, forget. But anyway, it was within AIDS. No, no, Rennie goes. No, it was way after that. You know, it was way after that. It was anyway. See, I can use a apply kit in the other room there, and that will give me plenty of stuff to film. Make a few videos of that. Assuming anybody wants to watch that shit. Fucking, I might have to go because of connection. Oh fuck. Flat Coke. Oh Christ. Oh. Flat and fizzyless. Rent a Ghost. I will be fascinated by bees. You will easily draw in new subs. Well, I hope so, because the thing is with the channel, the thing is what I've noticed is every so often the channel will, I'll get subs, get a few subs. I'll get every several days I'll get a few more subs. It'll keep on going, and all of a sudden it'll stop. It'll become, it'll just freeze, like it seems to have done over the last few days and the last week. So I would have figured the amount of people that are hopefully staying indoors, watching the YouTube videos, probably watching the telly, but watching the YouTube videos or subscribing, know more people that are watching the videos than they normally do, which is kind of strange. But yeah, as a YouTube provider or YouTube, what they call that, content provider, content maker, I'm always, not always, but quite often I'm trying to think of new ways to keep the audience interested. Which involves sometimes doing live streams because people seem to like that. Trying to introduce new subjects, like regrowing. The plants I did in here. I've got. I don't have them now because what do you remember in one of the videos? I had potatoes that were in the cupboard and I let them sprout. What was the other one? Onions. That was it. I had some onions on the windowsill, which I was allowing to sprout, and of course the tomato plants. So tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow morning there'll be another update. AD, who's not with us tonight, I don't think. I've got 5 new small tomato plants growing, so I filmed those. It's on the timer, so that'll be loaded 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. I introduced those to basically, jazz things up, make something different than the cookery. Different than the cookery ones, because you got to jazz it up a bit, and hopefully it might encourage people who are interested in vegetable growing. Hopefully they might catch hold of my video and think, this stuff's not so bad, so they join. So we introduce a new topic every now and again. Pablo Mancini says SARS. I think you're right. That might be what it is, SARS. I can't remember how that manifested itself. I can't remember. Rent-A-Go says you're thinking of SARS or swine flu. Oh, that was that as well. Yeah, and before that we had fucking mad cow. Was it? And we had mad cow years ago. It was foot in mouth, disease, or foot and mouth disease. I remember. I tell you, we've had loads. I tell you. See, the problem there is people feed it to other cows. What were they thinking when they thought, fuck spending money on cow food? Let's just grind up other cows, the dead and the dying cows. Let's grind them up, turn them into pellets, feed them to other cows. What could go wrong? Yeah. Motherfuckers. They're the people who were starting all these things. And that was it. And then all of a sudden, every cow in the country is having to be destroyed and set on, put on the bonfire. Rent a Ghost. Are you are a creator? Indeed, YouTube creator. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, but it's funny. They might have 6,000 subscribers, and I've looked at their channel and they've got like 6 videos. Who the fuck subscribe? Why do so many people subscribe to somebody with only 6 videos? Is a mystery to me. And then when I look at mine, I've got 1,600 now, which is, I tell you what, I can't believe that 1,600 subscribers, but I've made 920 something videos. Believe that or not, yeah, because on one of my pages there, it tells me. In fact, if you click onto my logo and it says about, it says like home, playlist, channels, and then at the end, hi, my name's Mark, and it tells you when I started the channel. I think it tells you how many videos I've made, how many clicks I've had. I think I've got just over 400,000, so approaching the 500,000 clicks. But yeah, so yeah, I'm doing what I can, trying to make some level of interest, and it's great that I mean, I live streams. It's good because I see all the same names coming up, and on the videos, people chucking in their comments. A lot of them are the same names. They've got a good core of hardcore, dedicated subscribers and followers, which everybody else, I can see right there. You got people like Rent a Ghost, Pablo Mancini, Peter B, Terry Webster. He comes up quite a lot, and lots of others. Yeah, it's good. So what I try and do, is try and jazz it up a bit. So if I get the bees, partly for my own amusement, I'll film it because I want to share my experience. I mean, this is all assuming. I'm assuming, and I don't want to jinx it too much. I'm assuming that an allotment comes up because, I mean, anybody who knows about allotments, you've got like 50 little patches of allotments on a patch of land. 50 allotted patches, and trouble is, the only time, see, several reasons how they come up. Either somebody dies and the allotment, nobody takes on the allotment. People can't be bothered anymore, or they decide what the woman in the council said. What happens is the rent comes, because they pay it like once a year. The rent comes around, and people are thinking, right, okay, do I want to spend the whatever it is, 40 quid, say, for different prices. Say, do I want to spend another 40 quid for another year, considering how much work I've got to put into it, how much of an arseache it is having to go trudge down there and be in the mud against how many vegetables I can measure to take the 40 quid to the fucking co-op and buy some veg. So, and then they give up the allotments, which is good because then so hopefully that'll happen. So hopefully I'll get an allotment. So I'm assuming that happens. I'm assuming I get an allotment, and then I can go. And if I do, then I'll. Who was it? Is it Peter B? Was it you last week that told me you used to have bees? Was it you? Somebody said that they used to keep bees. So if I needed any info, Peter B. There you go. Hey Mark, let's see. I've checked out Beekeeper Supplies and eBay or AliExpress, cheapest by far. Oh, and eBay or AliExpress, cheapest by far for most basic stuff. Wow, used to have 20 hives. Fucking hell. Jesus. Yeah, actually, yeah, because I'll keep you in mind because there are certain things that I can't find out no matter how many videos I watch. A long time. I tell you what, 20 hives. Fuck. Um, because yeah, actually, in the old, I would imagine, well, when you had them, you'd have to take out the uh, you know, I can't think what the fuck they're called. So, and you got all all the honey hives and that. You have to put them in a machine, the centrifugal. Oh, in his 20s, he says, and spinning a bit like at the fairground. When you're on that thing and it spins round, or and it'll throw the honey against the side walls of the drum. Those days are gone. These ones are, you just set it up. The bees will make all their honey, and what you do is you've got 6 or 7 individual compartments. You put the key in, the long pole, crack the thing, and what happens is you got the two halves of an individual bee making comb, and what happens, you turn the key, and what it does, it cracks, because what happens is that the two halves go together, but there's gaps. A gap. When you turn the key, you break the seal that they've made with the wax, and then all the honey comes pouring out. Frames, thank you. Yeah, yeah. So you don't have to take out the frames with the ones that are the a bunch of Aussies, a dad and his son, invented this thing. So you don't got to take the frames out. You just leave it. So what you do, you crack the frames, honey comes pouring out, you put a little tube, comes out into the jar, and you don't got to fuck with the bees. You don't end up killing the bees, taking the frames in and out. You don't disturb them. They don't get pissed off and and start attacking. You just taking the frames out, buying a machine, spinning it around. Good. So this is the easiest thing. You just set it up, leave it. I've got a plan actually. Don't tell anybody, right? But as I've been driving, not me driving, but as we go to the shops and that in the car, what I've been doing, the council, I'm assuming the council plant these things, but along the roadsides, you've got these yellow flowers. You've got a few, 3 or 4 over here. Other areas have got like 60 of them all in a big patch. As you go down the road in the grassy areas up on the hill, and all this. What I'm thinking was, I'm going to go over there with a shovel, and because the idea was, I want to start having as many flowers on the patch as possible. So when the bees come out of their hive, they've got immediate access to some flowers, and they can start getting the honey on production. Otherwise, they've got to start flying up to 3 miles in any direction. See, which is great, But I mean, the less effort they put into it, the quicker they're going to make me some money. So what I'm thinking was, I'm going to get my little cart and a shovel and go down the roadsides and basically take the shovel and take up the plant along with a big chunk of dirt and line them up in my little trolley, whip them down to the allotment and replant them. That's the plan. Get them out of the ground, replant them. If you go over there and just, you can't really go up there and cut them down because you kill the flower and there's no. Peter B, he says he's not seen it. Well, if you want to have a look, they're called Flow Hive. That's one word. FLOWHIVE. One word. Flow Hive. I tell you, these things are amazing. They look just like a regular beehive. Instead of in the the old ones, you've got to take the top. The slanty. You got to take the top off, expose the bees and the what do they call them? The frames. You got to take the frames out one at a time. And all, and then you got to disturb the bees. You got to hose them down with the smoke. None of that. You just take off the front compartment, put the key in, crack the thing so the frames move to break the seal of the wax. The honey drips out. You fill the big jar, and off you go. And then just put the plug back in, take the pipe out, put the plug back in. The bees go back to repairing the damage to the wax that they've been putting on. I tell you, it's amazing. Flow Hive. That's if you type that into YouTube, it'll bring up hundreds of them. And there's an Australian guy. He talks a bit funny. He talks like he's high, but it's just I don't know what it is, because he's Australian, or he's one of these really really mellow guys. He sounds like dollars, and they invented this thing, and Yeah, I tell you, it's an amazing thing. Yeah. Oh, you have seen it. He's seen the Peter B's seen the system, and it sounds very modern. Yeah, I think it's only been going like around 5 years. Only I'm only just figuring it out now. Oh, you've not seen it? Oh, it says I've seen that system. It sounds very modern, but underneath you've not seen it. I don't know, but either way, if you've not seen it, then just it's called. Let's see, Becky Crosling. Becky Crosling. Can you say hello to our Gary? He has been washing his hands. Well, that's probably very good news. If I nip out to the shop and come back, I wash my hands because I've been, handling door handles and whatnot in the shop, and the baskets you've got to carry around. So yeah, I mean, I wash my hands regularly, but I'm making more of a conscious effort to, um, you know, yeah. That's the thing, because if a bunch of people, you ever go to a gents at work, fucking hell, you know all about what filthy cunts are running around. So it's even um, more of a priority now to wash your hands regularly, which is where a supply of yeah, because you've got bug out when you jump in a van and fuck off somewhere, or you've got the bug in where you stay indoors. In the bug in supplies, extra soap, hand liquid soap or whatever else, an extra supply of that because you're using it 2 or 3 times more often. Let's see, Peter B. Oil seed, rape seed, high nectar producing. Interesting, yeah. Because I tell you, from what I've seen, all the honey out into this big jar, these fucking people stick their finger in it, in the mouth. Ugh, I don't get that. And what they do is they're like, they stick their finger in it like dirty fuckers, and taste that. And think, yeah, honeysuckle. Yes, fuck, and apparently because what they do, they've got several jars all lined up at the end of it, and you can see different shades. Some are very, very light, some are medium brown, some are very dark. It's because it's because each frame, let's say you've got a 6 or 7 frame, each one's holding like a gallon. Because the bees are going 1 month, bluebells might be very prevalent, right? Then they'll make a certain amount of honey. The following month, roses might be the common flower about. Then they'll make a certain amount of honey of that. And then the following month, bluebells might be more of those than anything else. Then the following month, apple trees might blossom. So they'll be going to those more often than anything else. So each jar can have a slightly different taste because they've concentrated on a different flower that particular month or that particular week or whatever, and also it affects the color, in different darkness, different thickness. Sometimes the heat of the day or heat of the month can make it thinner. Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to it. What I figure is because I mean, you'll probably know about this, Peter B. It's you've got your options. You either find somebody with a hive or find a hive up in a tree, bag them up, and then take them over to your hive and shake them into your hive, and then hopefully enough of them will stay there and set up shop. Or, which that sounds a bit dangerous, because I don't really want to sort of be climbing up any trees. Not at my age, and anyway, but yeah, I mean, I've never seen a beehive up in a tree anyway. Or you can go to the expense of, I say expense, I mean, spending money is something, I'm a bit, again, but you can either buy, what you do, you buy a queen in a little box with a sugar thing on it that they got to chew the way through with a few bees. You buy that, put them in there, and then they set up shop and then start laying eggs and all this kind of stuff. Or, which is what I mean, that involves spending money. Fuck that, So what I figure is what I'll do is I will set up the hive, replant. I'll put down a load of seeds if I can to, start growing stuff. I'll take some from the local hedgerows, take some flowers from there, dig them up from the roadside, replant them on my allotment. Maybe put a little bit of sugar water, drip some of that around the entrance, and that will encourage, hopefully, some bees from somewhere else who are looking for some honey. They'll find this and think, hello, got an empty house here. I'll go back and tell all my little buddies, and they'll hopefully take over the house, and then I've got a ready-made, bee making little factory going. Some beekeepers taking bees to areas of heather flowers. Some beekeepers taking bees to, yeah. Actually, I think I've seen that. They'll move the hive to an area, but that's if you've got an area. You can do that if you know somebody with a field, or change the area. But the thing is, I've got to stick to the allotment. So what I can do is basically, instead of taking my bees to where the flowers are, basically bring the flowers to where the bees are. That's what I'll have to do. Rentigo says, I need a queen bee. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But see, that's the thing. If because the way use that Rentighost, the way I understand it is, say you've got a bee colony, right? What happens is the queen bee will be laying eggs left and right. They'll grow up, they'll be turned into bees, they'll go out, get the honey, come back, make the honey, and it's making you money. You're taking the honey away from them, and after a while, they'll reach a capacity. This is what I understand. They'll reach a capacity of, basically, they've outgrown their environment. It's like there's too many fuckers running around in the same beehive. So what happens is, half or a make their own colony someplace else, up a tree, in a chimney, in a barn, or wherever else, which I'm hoping that's how I'm going to get my one started. Some of the hive will be outgrowing they're doing over there. They'll come over to mine and find out a new empty house. And but yeah, after they've outgrown it, a bunch of them will go up and set up shop someplace else. That's so. Yeah, so I'm hoping that's how I get my queen in the first place. Some bees will be out there scouting for honey, or nectar rather, and pollen, and they'll find a thing, and then they'll bring the queen over. That's my plan. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to go buy one, I suppose. I have to bite the bullet and pay some money, go on the internet and buy a queen or something. Peter B, seal up the entrance to the down straps around the hive, put on a trailer, jump there, and take to areas of blossom trees, orchards, etc. Actually, that's interesting. Yeah, I could. Wait a second while the connection comes back. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to take it to a public field or nothing. I don't think I'd have to know somebody who owns the land. I mean, that wouldn't be a problem if I can find somebody who will let me do that. And I suppose after a while, you see, that's the thing. I'm on the allotment. I'll be on the allotment, so there'll be a ready supply of plants in the vicinity. Hope namely other people growing plants. That should hopefully yield some. Plus the plants that I'll be transplanting onto my plot and growing. Plus they'll travel 3 miles. But the thing is, yeah, I mean, if I can get a trailer and if I can find somebody with a field who will allow me putting my bees on there for a little while, then that's great. Peter B, the swarm. You best let police or council know you're up for going to collect a swarm. You best let the police or council know you're up for going to collect a swarm. If I lay the buffet out for them, right? Sprinkle a bit of sugar water around the hive. You know, I figure eventually, you know, I'm hoping, you know, because the thing is finding a swarm is you know, I've got to be, you know, there will be some about, you know, I'd imagine that in you know in barns I've got to rip down some walls and that, you know, pulling down the interior walls and fucking in between the walls. They've been in there for years. Uh, yeah, or I could just encourage them to. I mean, that may take a little bit longer, you know, because I've got to encourage them into my empty beehive, let them start laying eggs, and you know. Anyway, but if they don't come on their own accord, I'll just have to go out and you know, buy a queen bee from a place on the internet, I guess. Ben Varley's in the house. Sorry, meant wave. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's talking to somebody else. But anyway, Ben Varley's here. No, 4x4. No, I haven't got the allotment yet. They a little while ago they said, what was it? January, February, March. It'd be April. They said. I went in there a couple of months ago to say, look, I want to put my name down. Well, actually, I didn't put mine down. I put my brother's name down because he lives in the area. That yeah, because the trouble is, I believe it or not, I'm actually I'm very close to the allotment, right? But there's a road in between the housing estate where I live, the housing estate where the allotment is, and I'm on the wrong side of the fucking road. So I Hussein, he's got his name down to get an allotment, and I put a form in on my brother's name because he lives in the area where the allotments are at. So if it comes up, then it'll be under his name. But I don't know. I'll take it from him. So no, I haven't got it yet. So actually, hopefully they'll contact me in at the beginning of. Actually, I don't even know. January, March. It's some. I'm assuming it's the beginning of April, but I don't know. The first of the month, I'll go in the office, depending on what day that is. When next day that is open, whatever day, and I'll go in there and find out. I'll say, look, you know, it's April now. When in April am I going to find out? Peter B, that's the best option, and most people report swarms of bees to the police or council. Best months June, July, August. Yeah. Oh. I suppose, yeah. I mean, I suppose if I was to but that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might, you know, if I can't get any bees, then yeah, I could get onto the council and say, you know, if anybody's got a swarm. But the thing is, I'm not a professional, right? I mean, I'll have to go in. I'll have to get my equipment. I'm gonna have to go in. You know, if they're in a house where you've got to start knocking down wall, yeah, you know, I could do that. I mean, that'd be the easiest way. It'd be the quickest way. Well, I don't know about the easiest, but be the quickest. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. I've got several options. You know, either go to the council, start, you know, hijack a swarm that's taking up somebody's barn, uh, buy a queen with a few other bees, or set up shop where it encourages them to come across. Pablo Mancini, good night, Mark. Look forward to the bug out videos. Indeed, yeah, yeah. When all this fiasco's over with, I could do a series of videos, and then you know, see, you know, and then of course the assuming the honeybee goes well enough, I'll make a few videos of that. All right, so that's Pablo Mancini. Thank you very much for joining, and catch you on the next one. What's this? Is right, Becky Crosling. Mark, my boyfriend asks me to wear a mask of your My boyfriend asks me to wear a mask of your face because he loves you so much, and I say, "Oh boy," but I wash my hands. Good. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, washing your hands is very important. Yeah, if you want to, if you want to run around with a mask of mine, great. Uh, Terry Webster. Terry Webster. Cook something live, Mark. Well, that's the thing. I can't kitchen because the lead is supposed to be a wireless thing, but it doesn't work unless it's connected into the wall. Or a mukbang 2 hours now. I'll probably call it. Yeah, connection keeps going every so often. Mukbang. Yeah, I've done a couple of mukbangs. They weren't. Well, actually, yeah, I have. I've done a pizza eating mukbang live. I did that. I've done a few recorded mukbangs in the kitchen. Um, yeah, trouble is I can't do it. I can't do it live. I can't cook anything live because I can't get the computer in the kitchen. Anyway, all right. Look at that. It's been. If anybody wants to hit the thumbs up, great. Go right ahead. Um, you know, yeah, because I'm thinking, because it's starting to pay off. The amount of thumbs up that's happening, because I believe that helps the algorithms, right? The amount of thumbs up benefits, and also the amount of comments on, as well as the live, I guess, but also after the fact when it's loaded and people are watching it on the rerun. Comments, main video. Well, if I'm watching something, if I'm watching a video, in the recommended thing on the right hand side, there you get all those thumbnails. I've seen some of my videos being recommended. Being recommended to me. Would like I want to see them again. Um, but I'm thinking because people are putting lots of comments in and hitting the thumbs up, I believe it does help with the amount of effort that YouTube put in to promoting your channel. Like in the recommended worth in, then that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, it all helps. Okay, let's see. Look at that. It's 2 minutes past 10. If anybody's watching abroad, it's 10 of my viewers are from England. About less than 5%. I think three point something American. So I've got a small amount of American viewerage. A couple of percent of people from Ireland, they watch the channel. So yeah, if anybody, so you can all throw your comments in. Oh, that was it. Yeah, I talked mostly about the prepping and whatnot. I was going to talk about aliens as well, but I'll save that till next time. Okay. But yeah, that'd be some such stuff there that I can do on future videos. Okay, Terry Webster's here. Spice and Easy still going. McMahon, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm actually off now because it's 2 hours 5 minutes, and okay, all right, I'm going to go because I need to go lay down and. Yeah, I'll hopefully do a live thing again shortly when I've got something else to chat about. All right, well, thank you everybody for watching and for your comments and chipping in and taking part in the live stream. Thank you to everybody, and good night.